Darkness on set. Hey, you guys, I wanted to share this article and news with you as it may confirm what many of us originally suspected regarding an old allegation and essay case that took place back in the good old days of children's sitcoms with Nickelodeon. Shows like All That and The Amanda Show. Cast and crew left in silence as many feared for their jobs, careers, and lives, and some apparently didn't know anything. The minor child that was essayed in this case was kept anonymous. He or she, Jane John Doe, was never verified or confirmed which child actor on which set it was, as it should be kept under wraps, for their mental health and safety. But now that the word has been out about Nickelodeon and how it was exposed, and the truth on what happened on and off those stage sets. Predators were all over those shows, some in disguise, some out in the open and never questioned. How has no one, not one adult in the crew, ever not intervene? So much has been said and told that it makes me wonder about the contracts and what may have been promised to these underage child stars. And we all know how easy it can be to manipulate a child, especially child actors who are eager and already willing to serve and please adults, producers, writers, and so on. At the time, many cast and crew did not know who the child was in question, but were made aware when it was a legal issue and lawsuit. Drake has been through a lot during the years, and part of his struggles with drugs and alcohol might have been due to his inner trauma and keeping so much inside for so many years. His adult years had also been tainted with his predator actions and behaviors, causing a treacherous, vicious cycle. Child trauma is no joke. It scars them and the children for life, and we just might be seeing that play out in real time. This is terrible, but at the same time, he has been grown and aware of what's wrong and what's right, and still did something that was questionable as an actor, person, and even as a young father. If you are a fan or viewer of Sloan's channel, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Last year, it had been reported that Drake Bell went missing, and rumors of his last sighting was near a school prior to his disappearance, which was said to be in relation to the stress, anxiety, and depression he was going through regarding the situation of his marriage and child at the time. But prior to that, he was shown on the news and other outlets as a reckless and irresponsible father, let alone an addict of some sort of problem, and showed video and photos, stills of him huffing special balloons with his baby in the car as well. And there was also disturbing footage of him forgetting the child in the car after, when returning home for a while, and then realized and grabbed his kid from the car. I'm sure this was worrisome for the mother and his ex-wife, Janet. He has had major ups and downs in his career and personal life. He also famously had drama with his ex-friend and co-star Josh Peck from their hit show Drake and Josh, where, long story short, Drake was upset not being invited to the wedding of Josh, despite not seeing or speaking to each other for quite some time after wrapping up the show and other events and projects. To many, it was odd and telling, as he does not talk or hang out, have a social life with other celebrities or around the area he lives. It's no secret he has tried to keep a low profile in the US, but in other countries, especially Spanish-speaking countries, they absolutely love and adore him and his music, which, like his social life in America, is fairly non-existent. But over there, he's actually a huge musical celebrity and loves his Spanish and foreign fans. Sloan is one of my favorite personal creators on YouTube and internet investigators. And 3 years ago, Sloan had did some digging and had talked about that Nickelodeon case with Mr. Peck. And this is no relation to Josh Peck, just horribly coincidental in this scenario. And guess what? Sloan highly suspected the minor in question indeed being and was Drake Bell, and due to his openness about his research, it kind of resulted in an unwanted or unexpected message from Drake and his wife, at the time Janet, saying they allegedly didn't want him digging, looking, or discussing Drake and any allegations, and so on. Whew. And so here we are, a year with no headlines of Drake Bell, nor his name in any heavy activity at all, and then this drops. So let's dive in. Drake and Josh's Drake Bell is publicly coming forward in a new documentary and alleging that he was sexually harmed as a child star by Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brian Peck. A recent teaser confirms that Bell was interviewed for the upcoming investigation discovery series Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV, which focuses on the conditions of shows created by Dan Schneider in the 90s and early 2000s. Per a Business Insider report from one of the Quiet on the Set executive producers, Bell opens up in the docuseries about Peck allegedly harming him. This was when he was 15 years old. That would date the allegations to when Peck was working on The Amanda Show, which Bell starred on from 1999 to 2002. In 2003, Peck was arrested and pleaded no contest to performing a lewd act against a 14 or 15-year-old, an oral copulation with a minor under the age of 16. Peck was ultimately convicted, sentenced to 16 months in prison in order to register as an sex offender in 2004. Bell, who has chose to remain anonymous as the minor in the case until now, has had a tumultuous past few years. He was briefly reported missing by the police in 2023. I do have a video on that. In 2021, a judge ordered him to serve 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service after pleading guilty to charges of attempted child endangerment and sending inappropriate messages to a minor. And this minor was also the same age as he was when things happened with him, 15 years old. Bell has also previously denied accusations of abuse by his ex-girlfriend, Melissa Langefeld. Quiet on the Set, which is due to release on March 17th and 18th, will reportedly include interviews with several other former child stars and crew members. Boy Meets World stars Ryder Strong, Will Friedle, and Danielle Fishel, if you don't know who that is, Topanga, recently shared that they had been approached by the docuseries but wanted to instead address their history with Peck in an episode of their podcast. Peck, who appeared as an adult guest star on Boy Meets World, developed close friendships with younger Friedle and Strong. Fishel suggested that adults on set may have been worried about questioning relationships because of Peck's sexuality. There was probably a part of them that didn't say it because they were afraid it was going to be taken as homophobia, she theorized. That I could see where she's coming from with that. Instead of this is a boundary, gay or not, this is a boundary between adults and kids. She's absolutely right. Friedle and Strong reflected on their past defense of Peck during his case, which included writing letters of support to a judge, in which they included the letters and showing up for him in court. They were sitting in the courtroom on the wrong side of everything. The victim's mother turned and said, "Look at all the famous people you brought with you, and it doesn't change what you did to my kid," Friedle recalled. "I just sat there wanting to die. I was like, what the hell am I doing here? It was horrifying all the way around." What do you think, you guys? Will you be watching on March 17th and 18th on ID? I'm going to try to. I would really like to see how this turns out. And I'm very proud of the people behind it, as they're spreading awareness that should have came to light a long time ago. I'm Leenda, and that's For the Record, Your Honor.